Hey, what's up, everybody? What up, though? Welcome to the We Outside podcast, episode 2. Hope you guys that were listening to the first episode, hope you liked it. We just want to introduce ourselves again. My name is Trevor Henry.
And I'm Larry Holmes, and
So
we
yeah,
outside.
and we welcome to outside. Welcome to We Outside. We just want to recap a little bit from our show last week, and then get into some more topics and get a little deeper. And then I'm gonna top it off with Larry. What did you notice about the episode last week?
I mean, the playoffs, even though, game five I was chose wrong with the Spurs pulled it out though, so, you know, we broke down kind of like the Clash of Italy stuff, so that was pretty cool though. And we're gonna talk about that a little bit more. And then there was a lot of interesting conversations I had at work this past last week about some of the topics that we're going to dive into a little bit. So, Trev, it's going to be an interesting show tonight.
Okay, yeah. So let's kick it off with the more important, probably the number one story is the NBA Finals. It features your Knicks and,
Hey,
and, and the Spurs. So I just want to know, how you feeling about the series?
man, this is going to be a good series. You know, I'm gonna put it out on wax right now. Knicks in six.
Knicks in 6.
Knicks in six.
Okay, and I'm going to go on the opposite side. I'm going to go with the Spurs, but I want to say the Spurs take it in 6. And if I could ask, what makes you think that the Knicks are going to win the series?
The Knicks, they're on a heater. They're on a real heater. They've won 11 straight games. They haven't lost in like a month, almost a month and a half. I mean, they're peaking at the right time. Towards the latter part of the season, yeah, they were a little struggling, wobbling in, and then, the Hawks series, the first 3 games, they were kind of like limping in, but I guess they found their stride, and I just feel like you know that game one, that epic comeback, something in them sparked them to be like, hey, we here, we not losing, we ain't going nowhere.
Yeah,
But
I will agree with you because it came down to them wanting it more than anything. And I think that's going to be the difference when they take on the Spurs. I I favor the Spurs because of Wemby. I think usually when you have any team that has the best player on the floor, you got to lean towards them a bit. And I think I have a feeling we're going to see who's his rival, who's going to establish themselves as the next best player on that team. I feel like it's Harper, but I really think Stephon Castle has a chance to really make a name for himself because he guarded Shea. He guarded Shea, and now I'm really looking forward to that matchup he has against Brunson. He gets to make a name for himself because what I see in Stephon Castle is he looks like a perennial all defensive player to me. I can see him on multiple defensive teams throughout the rest of his career. And we know Wemby's going to be there as well.
I mean, that's a fair point, and I said it, the last series with OKC that Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper are going to be the two X factors. Now, the one thing that, again, I'm pulling for the Knicks, but if I was a Spurs fan, the only thing that I would caution is their experience because they are a very young team. I mean, true, they have guys like Harrison Barnes and Kelly Olynyk on the bench or whatever, to provide that leadership, that that old school leadership from the bench. But the finals, it's a whole completely different animal, because like I guess at the press conference or whatever, there was like, well, yeah, it's all about just hooping. To a certain extent, it is,
Hmm.
but at the same time, though, too, I mean, there's certain things in you know championships that is different. And then the other thing is the reason why too is because Mike Brown has been there as an assistant and as a head coach in the finals. The Spurs head coach, Miss Johnson, this is his first time being here. So, and his
Yeah,
staff is fairly new staff too. So,
yeah. The only thing I will say about that, I'm pretty sure like the David Robinsons and the Tim Duncans and the Ray Popovich, I know they're in his ear during this time too, and I'm pretty sure they're giving him some guidance on how to handle this situation. And I wanted to ask you, how would you rank the top 10 players in this matchup, in the finals matchup?
man, top 10 players in this matchup. Oh man. Like from 10 to 1 or 1 to 10?
Yeah, so I want you to say who the best player is down to 10.
Well, I mean, clearly it's uh uh um the alien. I mean, he's one.
I agree with that.
Wemby. Jalen is two.
Yeah,
Cat is three.
I agree with that. Who's four?
Um, at this moment, I would say Champagny because Champagny, he's on a little heater himself. He's on a little
Yeah,
heater himself.
yeah. If I will say with Champagne and Vassell and Keldon Johnson,
Yeah.
one of those guys need to get hot at some point in the series, and that's going to do light years help for the Spurs because they've been streaky throughout the playoffs.
Well, so has Josh Hart and Mikael Bridges, but
Yeah,
and to that point, I mean, one of either Hart or Mikael Bridges got to step up and take that next step.
yeah. I'm really hoping it's Bridges for the Knicks because he's been to the finals before with the Suns. So
Yeah.
he has some experience in the finals as well. I'm looking for a good showing from him too.
So who would be so? Well, we know that you're not going to pick our Knicks. Who do you think is the X factor for the Knicks? If you if you were picking the Knicks, who do you think is that X factor though?
It's two X factors for me. It's Cat and it's OG
Mm,
because I think OG has a lot to say in this series too.
OG, I mean, defensively, he can pretty much guard 1 through 4.
I
Five, he
would
can't guard a five because he's a
I
little.
would I wouldn't be shocked if he ended up guarding Wemby a little bit in the series.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, him or Josh Hart, one of those two will probably guard him. But
Yeah.
it's. I mean, all I gotta say is it's going to be a very entertaining finals, and I mean, you know, it's it's going to be entertaining, and at the same time, it's going to be like some some good playoff basketball, though.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: if the Knicks pull it off, where does Brunson fall on the all-time Knicks list?
So, and I'm glad you mentioned that because, like, so at work, we were having this heated conversation, and it was just a lot of like different factors. And, some people have like, titles, the impact that you had on the franchise. just the overall, people like the overall like body of work or whatever.
Okay.
And if Jalen Brunson wins, he will not be the greatest Knick of all time. I'm
I would
sorry.
I wouldn't put him there either.
I'm sorry because like there are guys that have done way more. He has had an impact. I will say he will be a top five, arguably top three Knick of all time. But the greatest
I'm
Knick of all time, I just can't see that.
I'm glad you added three. So now my next question is, if you say he was top three if he wins the title, who do you bump? Patrick Ewing, Clyde Frazier, or Willis Reed?
Well, so I'll just say it like this. Clyde Frazier, you can't bump him because the whole impact that he had over the whole Knicks.
Okay.
Then it becomes interesting for
Okay.
me with Reed, who was an All Star and MVP of the league, and then Patrick
Mhm.
Ewing. Because they both had long tenures with the Knicks. Now, granted, Patrick got traded to Orlando and Seattle, but his whole body of work is with the Knicks. And I mean the heroics that Reed had in that game 7, you can't discount that though. So
Mhm.
if I was to take somebody out of the top three, it would have to be Patrick Ewing. I love Patrick. I grew up off of Patrick. I grew up off of him, you know, but I mean, Reed, his impact, the two titles, the MVP, that kind of like trumps that a little bit though for me.
Yeah, I could see people crashing their cars now with that comment about bumping Pat.
Yeah, I mean, there. I mean, depending on who you ask or whatever, who you ask, like if you ask people from our generation, they would probably say, hey, keep Pat on there. If you ask somebody from the older generation,
Keep.
keep, they'll probably, they probably would have for Patrick Ewing fifth because, again, you got to think of those 70s Knicks teams because those teams in the 70s, I mean, you had you know, Clyde Frazier, Reed, Dave DeBuscher, Bill Bradley, the senator, Dick Night Train Barrett, um, Earl the Pearl,
Mhm.
like you know, Phil Jackson. Now, I'm not saying they're all time greats, but you have some Hall of Famers on that
Well,
team.
yeah, that team has some names on there.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, and then if you shifted towards the 80s or whatever, you had Bernard King, Mark Jackson, Kenny Skywalker,
Yeah.
so it's kind of where you are, what generation you are in, and how you have the whole what you call it, the whole regency bias because it's kind of okay, because folks in today's era they probably say, well, Jalen Brunson is the best Nick of all time. You
Because
know,
they didn't see the other guys. They just heard stories about them.
that's true. I mean,
Yeah.
I honestly think, and I wish they still had ESPN Classic where you can watch those around this time, finals time, whatever. They would play all the old school games, and as a kid, I would watch those old school games and pick up stuff on that though. So,
Yeah.
but to getting back to the subject at hand, I don't think he will be the greatest Nick of all time.
I wouldn't put him there either. He'll definitely be he'll he'll probably have a case for it, but I don't. No, I don't see him as the all-time greatest Knick if he pulls
Now,
it off.
now, if had he won the MVP last year and title this year and Finals MVP,
It might be a different conversation.
it's a different conversation. You're right. It's a different conversation
Yeah, it's a different conversation. Okay.
but I don't think that you're going to trump Willis Reed or Clyde Frazier. Now, if he wins multiple, then that's where the real argument becomes.
Yeah. Okay. So prediction time. Who wins game one and why?
Game one, oh boy, I'm going to say the Spurs. Spurs is going to win game one. I'm going to say they do. It's going to be a close game because, as we all know, game ones they tend to be close. They tend to everybody's trying to get their feel, and the thing is, the Knicks haven't played in 10 days almost. OKC. I mean, sorry, the Spurs last game was like 3 or 4 days ago, so they're still kind of like riding that sharpness still.
And they some young guys too, so you got to factor
Yeah,
that too.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's true too.
yeah. I definitely think the Spurs are going to win tomorrow. Usually, I don't really buy into game one too much. I do know it's an important game, but I always look at games 2 through 5.
Mhm.
In between those games, that's how you kind of you can tell who the better team is. Usually by game 3 or 4, you know who the better team is. And then at that point, you pretty much know each other at that point. And it comes down to like how the Knicks been thriving in the last 11 games. They've been wanting it more. It comes
Yeah,
down it comes down to the will of the team at that point.
yeah. And then here's another thing that, as a Knicks fan, I'm a little concerned about. Mitchell Robinson's pinky finger.
I was just about to mention that.
I'm nervous because that dude is a defensive dynamo for us, a shot blocker. You
Yeah.
know, now he's not you know Wimby, but he still kind of has that impact though too. So
Yeah, because I was gonna say he could take a page out of the OKC book where they roughed we talked about it last week where they roughed up Wemby a little bit. And you can tell he was exhausted. I think
yeah,
Mitchell Robinson has a big key in there. You got to neutralize him some way.
you do, and it's going to be. I mean, like I ain't gonna lie, it's gonna be hard to. You can't stop him though. The only thing that you can try to do is contain him, but
Yeah.
it's hard to stop him when he's shooting threes from like 30 feet. Like,
Can I get on my Wemby fix real quick?
uh
So I did some research, and there's two comparisons I want to make for Wemby. I remember last week I said he might have a dominant run like Shaq,
huh.
but I forgot about two other big men that won titles early in their careers.
hmm
Tim Duncan won a title at age like 23, 22.
Like that was his first. That was his
That,
first
that was the,
year. That was his first whole full year in the league.
and that was against the Knicks. And
No one
also,
back that.
I'm sorry I mentioned that. But then also, I look at Kareem. Kareem won it with the Bucks, and he was like 24. So I can see Wemby's trajectory going that route because I saw that Tim Duncan and Kareem had multi-year All Defensive Team and All NBA team no nods, and I see that the same thing can happen with Wemby. And both of those two guys have multiple MVPs. Teams stay dominant for years. So this is a big one for Wemby, I think, because he gets to get on that path with those two.
I think. I mean, you had a viral comment last week, a viral short that went viral a little bit though.
Yeah,
That I mean, which I mean, look. I'm in total agreement with you about that. Like he's going to be the face of the league, and he's going to dominate. The next few years, well, the next several years, and the only,
I just want to know who his co-star is going to be. Who's going to take that step and be his co-star?
I mean, do you think so? Do you think that it could be like a multiple, like a multiple cast? Like, for example, game one, it could be Harper. Game two, could be Castle. Game three, it could be Champagne. Game four, it could be Vasil. Game five, it could be Johnson. Because I'm kind of like,
I think it's a mix.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's it's
I
gonna
can't.
like it's gonna be like a true collective, though. I think personally.
And if you think about it, that's how Duncan Spurs always been. It's always been a collective group. Of course, you had Duncan, Ginobili, and Parker, but they had a collective group of guys that got it done for them.
I mean, well, the cool part about it is that like these guys, I mean, they're young and there's no real like there's no real salary cap like restrictions on that team.
Not yet.
It's not. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, he's going to get paid. Wemby's going to be a max player.
Yeah.
Castle, he may not be a max player, but he's going to get like that 185 deal.
He he's going to be a. I feel like Wemby, Castle, and Harper are going to be together for a while. Now, what goes around them, that's to be determined.
Yeah. Do you think that they're going to be like that next version of Parker, Duncan, and Ginobili though?
Yeah, the only thing is, do you? Do I see Castle and Harper as all stars? It's a little early for Harper, but does Castle take that next step and be like an All NBA third team, first team All defense type of guy?
I think he does. He has the ability,
He has
but
ability.
but again, but again, it's to be determined because there's a lot of different factors that we gotta factor in on that though too. Because it's almost like, well, if you like again, I mean, the league's always changing, the league's always shifting and whatever. And I mean, guys can get injured. So I mean, I'll say this about those two: their trajectory is there,
I
but we just gotta like let them play it out a little bit more. That's
yeah,
all.
yeah, it may be too early to put them in certain areas right now. I do agree with you. We gotta see it unfold.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and also too, Stephon Castle. I think this is his second or third year, and Harper, this is his first year. So
yeah,
so for them to have the success that they're having currently, I mean, you know, it's good. I'm just saying the future looks bright, barring injuries, barring, you know, anything that happens in the league. Because as we know, this league is crazy.
yes, I agree. So now let's pivot to wrestling a little bit. What did you think of Clash in Italy?
Oh man, I thought it was a good show overall.
Hmm.
The show was good overall. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed at the Oba Brock match.
I was too.
I was a little disappointed because to me, it just seemed like it was just dominant, dominant, dominant Brock. And I mean, like, if we pull the curtain way back a little bit though, and see how it was that match with him and Oba, it reminded me of him and John Cena when they had like fought for the title. and Brock Lesnar just beat the dog mess out of John Cena.
Wasn't
Like
that was that SummerSlam?
that was SummerSlam, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was SummerSlam. Yeah.
I mean, that was straight suplex city all day, every day.
What I think it left more to be desired. I didn't like the ending. I thought Oba was gonna go over, but it reminded me of when they tried to put Lesnar and Bobby Lashley together. Like they had them beat each other, but we didn't get a third match between those two. So now I'm wondering if we're gonna get a third match between Oba and Brock because I know SummerSlam is in Minnesota, and there's rumors that he wants to retire in Minnesota. So who retires him?
Oba, which makes sense. My only question is though, is it going to be a competitive match though? Because I just don't. Again, I mean, creative gotta be better.
Yeah, and the thing is, we all know everybody that's been following wrestling. Brock doesn't wrestle that long.
No.
He does like two or three moves, and then that's it.
Yeah, it's German suplex, F5. German suplex, F5. You know, or he'll probably have them in the what you call it, the
Like the Kimura lock,
Komodo lock or whatever.
Kimura lock, yeah.
Yeah, you know. But besides that, he just fights, and so it's gonna be curious over the next couple of months how they pull this out, how they like present this to us. Though, hopefully, it can be a good product. I'm hoping.
And it's interesting how they try to make up for it and have him dominate on Monday Night Raw. When he dominated, was it who was in there? It was Carmelo Hayes, it was Penta, and it was somebody else, and he just dominated everybody. But
Yeah,
that didn't do nothing for me because we expected Oba to do that.
yeah, and then, but here's the other part of it too, because he won that match, you know, as a qualifier for the King of the
King of the
Ring.
Ring.
So if he doesn't face Brock in SummerSlam, could he face Roman Reigns for SummerSlam?
I would be game for that. But the thing is, does he win the title?
No, I don't think so.
It's too early.
Because
It's too early for Roman to lose the title.
yeah,
Just
but here's it. I mean, that's true, but we also did see a title change hands too from a girl that just got there, Soul
that's true.
Ruka. So
That's true.
I mean, you never know what twists and turns could possibly happen. But speaking of the champion, the tribal chief, um, I thought that match was well. Let me ask you this, because I have my thoughts about it.
Hmm.
What do you think about that match, Tribal Combat?
I, f- I think it's going like the same way when Jay Uso was challenging Roman before the Bloodlines first started. I think they're recycling that storyline. Like he constantly beats, well, he what, to beat Jacob Fatu twice now?
Mhm.
And then there was a certain point where Jay Uso got rebellious. And I see Fatu doing the same thing. So of course he's gonna be like the hired gun, the mercenary, the enforcer, to like do Roman's like dirty work
Mhm.
in certain rivalries. I can see that happening. And then I can see at a certain point, Jacob Fatu snaps and he challenges Roman again.
Mhm. So if you saw at the end when the
He looked at so
MFTs or
yeah.
whatever, because he said something, he was like, I got something for them too.
Hmm.
So which leads me to think, do you think a possible merger of the bloodline and the MFTs. Because if you think about it, all of them are family by 1 degree of separation or something like that, though.
Yeah,
So that's going to be a storyline that we should pay close attention to as well.
that's an interesting nugget. I didn't really think about that. I thought there was one of those. Yeah, we see you, and we'll see you later.
I mean, maybe it's my conspiracy brain thinking about that though,
Yeah,
because I kind of picked up on that though too, because like as he was like exiting the ring, he was like, "Yeah, I got something for them too. Stay tuned." And then like they didn't say nothing. They just like when they panned the camera over there to them and they panned it back to him, it was kind of interesting though.
yeah,
So
because Jacob Fatu was in that group for a little while.
yeah, I mean, yeah, like
He was with Solo anyway, but not that particular group.
yeah, but I mean, again, the next couple of months, the whole summer series is gonna, be interesting to see. The controversy between Cody and Gunther,
Man, yeah, I really thought Gunther was gonna win that match because I just feel like fans are like have some like Cody Rhodes fatigue, and I thought Gunther was gonna win the match, and I don't remember him saying anything about that loss. Maybe we'll hear it on Friday because Gunther's on SmackDown now, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, so maybe we'll hear about it on Friday.
So so now being like the nerd that I am, I saw the post match show or whatever, and Cody did extend an olive branch to Gunther, saying that Gunther can have a rematch. So could that rematch be at King of the Ring? Could it be at SummerSlam? You know,
Yeah, yeah, I'm kind of curious when they would do it because let's just say if it does happen at King of the Ring and Gunther wins, usually the person that wins King of the Ring usually wins the title. That's what happened with Gunther last year when he won King of the Ring, or was it 2 years ago? I just remember when he won it, he ended up taking the title off somebody.
yeah,
So
yeah. So I mean, so the winner of King of the Ring, they're going to go to SummerSlam for a title shot.
hmm
So I think Cody's going to keep the title to SummerSlam, and then it's going to drop.
that SummerSlam.
I think so because it doesn't make sense for him to drop it at King of the Ring. Now, again, I'm not the creative team, so I can't be like, well, say that because again, you never know. You never know what could happen.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Now, did you watch the Rhea Ripley and Jay Cargill match?
I did. I did.
What do you think about that match?
That was a good match. It was very physical. And
I, I thought Jay Cargill looked a whole lot better in the ring and comfortable in the ring in that match too.
yeah, with Jade, I mean, yes, Jade is strong, athletic, and got a body for days. Jesus Christ. Jesus. Man, Jade.
Let's get back focused, Larry. Get back focused.
Hey, man. Hey, man. Jade Cargo is she's my new celebrity crush. I'm just putting it out there. So, Jade, if you see the podcast, you know,
Larry, we love you, Jay.
I love you more. But nah, nah, but I mean, that was a physical match. I thought that, to your point, Jade has improved in the ring. She, you know, it looks like she's more comfortable and she's embracing this heel character.
I think she's more comfortable as a heel instead of a face.
Yeah.
I think she thrives off being the heel. And I would like. It looks like we're going to get her and Charlotte facing off at some point.
I think so. Oh, I think on Friday for the the Queen of the Ring qualifying, they have a match. I think on Friday. So,
Mm.
but like Charlotte, Charlotte coming out, towards the end to to I don't I don't know if you want to call it help Rhea because she really didn't do nothing. It was just her.
She was just preventing Jade from winning, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, but I just, you know, so yeah, with you know, Rhea having the title, what's next for her though?
Yeah, who's the next challenger? It's got to. You would think it's got to be between Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, because you would think they about to. You would think because there's tension between those two. You would think they would like try to break them up so one of them get in the world title picture.
That would be
And
it'll
I
probably be Charlotte.
and I think that's the money match, Charlotte and Rhea, because
Yeah,
they got some history.
they do. I mean, like a match that I want to see personally, and it sucks that she isn't on the wait a minute. Is yeah. Who's on the Raw? So the female champion is it
Liv Morgan's the champion for Raw.
Raw? Okay. I want to see I want to see Lash Legend versus Rhea Ripley.
I like Lash Legend a lot. I like her a lot.
She is one of the most athletic women, the newer ones that came in,
Yeah, and she only been wrestling for like 6 years.
which is crazy to
That's the
see.
wild part to me. She was in the development center for like 3 years, and then she jumped to NXT. And look at her now.
I mean, she's a tag title, holder at
And
one
that,
point.
and then it goes and then with her performance at the Royal Rumble, she looked real good during the Royal Rumble as well.
I mean, you know, I think creative need to, but she's paired with what's her face with
Nia Jax.
Nia Jax.
Yeah,
So I mean,
and I
I
do,
think
and I do like them as a tag team. I can
yeah,
see them. I do like them as a tag team. I really do.
yeah,
But
but I think
eventually they're going to split.
yeah, and I think that Lash is. If we were comparing upsides, I would say Lash's upside is way bigger than Nia
Right?
Jax.
Yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot more potential. There's a lot more money matches with Lash because, like you said, heck, we can probably get her and Jade out at some point. We could probably
Which
get her. We can probably get her and Bianca at some point.
yeah, which that I mean, either of those two matches, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely want to see her shine as a solo act because I think she has it for sure.
She does have that it factor. She
And,
does have it.
and she was a former basketball player too.
Yep. Her and Jade.
Yeah, her and Jade. Yeah,
Yep, those were some hoopers. But one of the things that I can't but getting back to the tribal chief and Jacob, I mean, Jacob, he finally acknowledged him though.
yeah. I mean, that's what he signed up for.
I mean,
But I mean, I would just wonder because I know there's going to be a twist with Jacob. You just don't know what it is. He's the Samoan werewolf, man. He can. He can snap at any moment.
I mean,
Any moment.
that is true. I mean,
But I don't see no challenger on Raw for Roman now. What I want to see, I don't know if Roman is going to have the title that long, but I think the next money match for Roman is him and Seth Rollins.
yeah, but Seth has his own thing, with
He's trying to get past the division.
the
He got to get past
division.
the division first, but we because remember we had them wrestle at Royal Rumble a couple years ago.
Yeah, and
They
technically,
never they never circled back on that.
yeah, and technically, Seth did not lose his title. He got hurt,
He got hurt. That's right.
so that could be a very interesting twist to all of this, though. So,
But to be honest, that might be our Macho Man Hulk Hogan.
mm, yeah, mm,
That might be our Macho Man Hulk Hogan. And
it could.
they haven't been able to get together. And the story writes itself because they was on the Shield together. They both hit each other with a chair in the back. Seth Rollins cost Roman the title at some point when Cody went over to win the title. The story is there. They just got to build it.
Yeah. So we're gonna need WWE creative. If you guys are watching the podcast, yeah, I need to get that going.
Yes. Sign us up.
Yeah. I mean, hell, sign me up. I can to do creative a little bit. I mean, nah, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Okay, let's shift from wrestling a little bit and do a little quick hitter. Were you paying attention what happened to the NFL?
Me- Which one? Which
Let's
one?
let's start with the big one. Miles Garrett. Did the Rams give up too much for Miles Garrett?
No,
You don't think they gave up too much?
no, no. A f- next year first round. No, next year first round pick. The following year second round pick, and then the following year third round pick.
Yeah.
And you traded uh
Verse.
yeah, verse.
Verse. Yeah, verse.
That's that's too little.
You think they
That's
got a you think they stole Miles Garrett?
that's highway robbery right there. Let's call that what it is. That's
I do agree with that first pick, the first round pick, because
yeah,
the Rams expecting that to be the back end of the draft anyway, so they don't care about that.
yeah, yeah.
I do wonder where the second and third picks fall because you can find some really good players in the second and third round, depending on how your draft is.
My
But
question is, what the hell is Cleveland doing? Like what?
they might be trying. They was already going to stink, but they probably going to stink more so they can get one of those quarterbacks.
I mean, because
But I like
uh,
Shador though. I like Shador.
I like Shador too. You got three quarterbacks. Deshaun is on a expiring contract too. Let's
Mhm.
not forget about that. And
Yeah.
let's not also forget too that Cleveland is building a brand new stadium. That's the
Oh,
other people.
I didn't know that.
So could it be that since they're building this new stadium, they're trying to find a face of the franchise to lead them in that direction though too?
I can see that. I can
So,
definitely see that.
but my thing is that you gave up whoever's doing these trades, Andrew Berry, probably the GM of the Browns. He, yeah, my man, you gotta do better.
Gi-
Got
Given, given what you know, because you know AJ Brown went to the Patriots, and then was there one more move that happened too?
I don't think so.
Those are two big ones. I'm thinking about Russell Wilson going to TV, but we kind
Yeah,
of knew he was
yeah,
at the back end.
yeah.
So, given with those two moves, who do you think the top three favorites going into next year are
I
for the
think
Super Bowl?
I think the Rams, the Patriots, um, hmm,
I do
Third one,
agree. I do agree with the Rams because the Rams have put all their chips in the middle. They're going
yeah.
for it. They're going after it. And they got and they kind of have to because Stafford just won the MVP. They were really close against Seattle. They're
And he
basically,
signed a $60 million deal.
yeah,
So
they're basically right there, so they might as well capitalize on why they got Stafford, and then that buys them time on Ty Simpson as well.
yeah. I mean, the Patriots, you let Stephon Diggs go, but you upgraded a huge upgrade with um AJ Brown and Drake May is getting better. Like he gotten better game by game, so I mean the Patriots I mean that third team, I wouldn't have said Kansas City, but given light of the Rashid saga, you
Yeah,
know,
and we don't know what my homeboy gonna look like.
Mahomes, we don't know how he's going to bounce back from having his ACL tear,
I
but
I think this year will probably be a gap year for KC.
it probably will be. So I mean, it's on paper right now. I think those are the top two teams on paper.
You don't think Seattle's in the mix? That's a fairly young team, and it's a really good
You
mix too.
you gave up your top back to go to Kansas City.
I mean, only thing I argue about that is you can find a decent back. You can always find that.
That's true. That's true.
You
That's
don't you
true.
don't you don't got to cash out on a running back. Everybody knows that, so you can always find, and you can do a running back by committee too.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Um, I did want to touch on something though, because Trevor, I know you're not a tennis fan like I am though, you
Yeah,
know,
this
and
is the opportunity for you to educate me on tennis.
And yesterday, I watched the Francis Tiafoe Mateo Nardi match. That was a 5 set, 5.5 hour match,
Oh, jeez.
and the shot making, the defense that was being played by both of those players.
Yeah, because I had it in my notes to ask you about the tennis phenom.
Yeah, yeah. The kid from France. Yeah, that kid. He is so. For those of you who know who Gael Monfils is, Gael Monfils was a French tennis player that he's retiring at the end of the year, or whatever, and he is like one of the most charismatic tennis players. Former top 10 player, had a good junior career, ranked number 1 junior in the world as a junior. Pro. He had a lot of success as a pro. Didn't crack through to the grand slams that a lot of people had like projected him to be, but he had a great career overall. I would say most people will say he didn't have a slam, but I look at his career in a totality. Like when you're facing Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, Murray, those four in your same era, and you still manage to get to the top 10. Like that's almost like Jordan, when Jordan had gone up with Larry Bird, Magic, Isaiah, and still managed to like extend himself, but his team didn't get over the hump at that time period. So that's the comparison that I make to him though. But you
Okay.
know, yeah, but that kid, he has a huge upside. I mean, he lost in the third round of the French. I mean, I think that was like second major Grand Slam appearance, but for him, kid has star power all over him.
Okay. So I got to ask a question about your tennis background because you grew up in the tennis world. played college tennis. I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure you played quite a few tournaments. Who was the biggest name that you played against?
Oh man, the biggest name. Um, hmm, I gotta think about that one.
Okay.
Um, I
Can
gotta
you
think about that one.
can you share a story from a tournament that's sort of radio friendly?
So I can, yeah. So back in college, shout out to Johnson C. Smith University, the greatest HBCU in the world. Um, my senior year, like we played against Shaw. Shaw is another HBCU in Raleigh. Us and Shaw, we were rivals for the longest period of time. And my senior year in college, the first time we played them, you know, I mean, um, the team lost 5-4, but I won my match though. And tennis, it's a very genteel, classy sport or whatever. So, the Shaw's team was dancing on the court or whatever. And
Okay.
I kind of like took offense to that because I'm like, yo, you don't dance on our home court, Okay, you won. Congratulations. Be gone. So they're dancing on our court, talking trash.
Okay.
And, you know, me being the vocal person I am, I was like, yo, we be going with that though. So, long story short, their coach came over talking trash, talking trash to my coach. Now, my coach, my college coach, God bless his soul, he's a Southern classy gentleman, and he'll stand up for when it's needed, though. So I took it upon myself as a senior captain to be like, yo, y'all need to like bounce, be going or whatever. So they're still dancing. And I got in the coach's face. I'm like, yo, get your team and get out. So, like my teammates are holding me back. Like, Larry, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. I'm like, nah, they're disrespecting our course. Nah, forget that. We're still the champions of the conference. You gotta show a little respect here or whatever. So, knowing me, I blow up on the team. I said, yo, I'm
Oh,
gonna
your
take
team.
you and your whole team.
The Shaw team or your team?
Shaw team.
Okay.
I was like, I'll be you and your whole team. What? And I was just like, because I was like mad because one, our team lost and we got dudes, they were a little down because like, you know, that was the first like conference dual match that we lost in 6 years.
Okay.
So that that right there was a lot right there already. And then for them to be disrespectful, it kind of set me off though. So as a senior leader, I had to say something.
Okay. So where else has tennis taken you?
Man, tennis has taken me everywhere, man. I mean, tennis has afforded me life. I mean, if you was to ask me when I first started playing tennis at 8 years old, if I would be working at the USA National Campus, which is the home of American tennis, I would probably say I wouldn't be. I mean, um, I've coached in college, I coached in various places. I mean, I've went from North Carolina to Arizona to Kansas to Virginia to Ohio to Missouri and now Florida. I mean, it's just been one crazy ride, and I've been very blessed in my career to like be able to do that though.
And so, one final question: who introduced tennis to you, and do you want to tell them thank you?
Man, man, there's a lot of people who helped me on this journey. I mean, first and foremost, my pops. Pops, he's been there with me, for practically since I was 8 years old on this journey. You know, picking me up, taking me to practice clinics, buying me rackets, doing all the stuff that he's done, and never asked for anything in return. His whole thing was, hey, try to take this as far as you can. So, I mean, to be honest with the viewers, without him, I'm nothing. And
Yeah,
and that's being real. I mean, and by the way, Pops he did want me to pass a message along to you, because he said he wished he would have like known you around when you were 8 or 9, because he said that you would be a phenomenal tennis player.
yeah. It's funny you say that because I one of the coaches, his name is DJ back in Northwestern, back in Flint. He tried to get me to play tennis, but back in Flint, it was either you play basketball or football. And like now that I look back on it, I'm like, shoot, I should have did like the tennis. I should have did baseball. I should have did all other sports. But you got teased that you played other sports back then, so that's why I never jumped into it. And to those that don't know, I've met Pops before. So we basically, Larry had a family gathering a couple years ago, and we met. I met Pops and a lot of his family members, and they took me in and they accept me as family as well. So shout out to them. Love those guys. But and Pops always gives me a hard time on social media every now and then. He wants to be part of my jokes one day. So I was like, yeah, I gotta get some more material first, OG.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's jokes for days though. But like, without him, this life that I have, man, I mean, I mean, it wouldn't be possible. I mean, I gotta thank all of like, the coaches that helped me get through, my first ever coach, Curtis Carter. I gotta thank him. I gotta thank, my big brother Sam for coaching me and helping me become much more of a leader. Um, all of the bosses that I've had along the way that help grow and mold me. Um, on the college side, um, one of my good friends, Justin Stuckey, who is the head coach at Drake. He was the one that got me my foot in the door to college tennis. Um, you know, um, uh, John Moreland, the associate head coach at Navy, men's coach at Navy. He's been instrumental, in my life. Um, and then the coaches that I worked for and worked under, and then my big break happened at Virginia Tech, and I would not have gotten that job if the current coach at Florida, men's coach at Florida, um, 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 Adam Steinberg, if he didn't like tell me, hey, if you want to be a Division I coach, this is the steps that you need to do, and I listened to him, and I did it. A month or two later, I became an assistant at Virginia Tech. Then had gone on to Norfolk State. Done some amazing things at Norfolk. Year one, you know, um, coach of the year for both men's and women's teams, and came both to winning both conference championships for both of those programs in my first year as well. And then I pivoted out of there. Became the director of junior tennis at Towpath Tennis Center in Ohio. Learned a lot there. Then I moved to Springfield, Missouri. Became a head pro at the Cooper Tennis Complex, which led me to be here at the national campus, the home of American tennis. So
That's
that's
what I'm
my
talking
journey.
about right there,
That's my
man.
journey in a nutshell.
My man had been around. Okay, so that's pretty much most of the show today. So we want to give a little tease for next week's show. Because about time we get back on this thing, we'll probably be what, at game 2 or game 3 of the finals?
Game 2 or game 3. Yep. We'll
We'll
be
probably
there.
we'll be around that time, so we'll have a little bit more storyline to talk about with WWE, what we think is going to happen next, because they like to play with us and give us a twist and a turn every now and then. And also, we probably going to touch on a little bit more of the college landscape next episode. And we're going to try to go over the NFL schedule next week.
Mhm. And we might have a very special guest on next week.
Okay, and that, folks, that is a tease.
Yes.
So we want to
And
thank you, and we want to thank you all for listening to us for about an hour. Thank you for your time. We're looking for any comments, any feedback you want to give us, so we can make adjustments and be better. So we appreciate you all for listening. As always, as I sign off, you all be safe out in them streets.
yeah, y'all be cool, love with one another, be blessed, and yeah, we'll see you next week.